Hey everyone, and welcome to another explainer. Look, if you've ever stepped onto a plant floor or had to manage a facility and felt like you were just, constantly putting out fires instead of actually preventing them, well, you are in exactly the right place today. We're going to eliminate that operational chaos by breaking down the 6 pillars of maintenance scheduling effectiveness. We're taking the core insights from the definitive texts on maintenance planning and turning them into a highly visual, totally actionable guide. So let's get ready to shift your operations from that reactive scrambling to proactive mastery.
To do that, here's the structural blueprint we're following today. First, the scheduling framework. Second, the foundation, which is job plans. Third, winning the week. Fourth, assigning every available hour. Fifth, navigating the daily reality. And finally, number 6, measuring success with wrench time.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the scheduling framework.
Our source material really anchors on this star diagram. It perfectly illustrates the 6 foundational principles that literally create a successful scheduling framework. As you can see, radiating outward, from job plans to wrench time, every single one of these principles sets a very specific guideline for how maintenance should handle a different piece of the overall process. It's kind of like a spatial map for the whole system.
Now notice how we zoom in here. It's like one of those matryoshka nesting dolls. We're following the life cycle of a work order as the responsibilities cascade down through these distinct time frames. First, you have the planner, right? They're working well in advance to scope the job out. Then exactly 1 week out, the scheduler takes those plans and builds a forecast. And finally, just 1 day out, the crew supervisor takes that forecast and actually applies it to the messy reality of the plant floor. It's this beautifully delegated sequence. And the best part? It means no single person is carrying the entire cognitive load of the plant's maintenance.
Moving right along to Section 2, the foundation, which is all about job plans. Look, a work order absolutely cannot just say something like, fix the pump. No way. For any kind of advanced scheduling to even happen, the planner has to provide 4 very specific elements: the exact number of people needed, the lowest required craft skill level to do the job safely and correctly, the work hours expected per skill level, and the total job duration. Now, specifying the lowest required skill level, actually, that is a massive takeaway. It makes sure we aren't artificially bottlenecking our schedule by, say, demanding a master mechanic for a task that a first-year apprentice could easily handle.
So why does all this meticulous planning actually matter for us? Well, because it completely transforms the daily life of your crew supervisor. The source text makes it super clear that driving productivity by setting goals through a weekly schedule, it frees up the crew supervisor to focus purely on the current week. Instead of constantly drowning in this massive, terrifying backlog of literally every broken thing in the plant, they just have to focus on executing the well-defined tasks right in front of them. It is an instant stress reliever, for sure.
Which brings us to Section 3, winning the week.
Okay, prepare for a pretty big paradigm shift here, especially if you're used to micromanaging. The scheduler crafts a 1-week forecast based on the highest skills available, but, and this is crucial, it is not a day-by-day, hour-by-hour itinerary. Nope, it's actually just a simple batch listing of work. The sheer genius here is that a 1-week period is long enough to group jobs together to smooth out inaccurate time estimates. Because let's face it, some jobs just take longer and some are way shorter than we think. But a week is also short enough to protect the crew from sudden, random interruptions. It just gives them a realistic, achievable bucket of work for that week. Up next is Section 4, assigning every available hour.
100%. The rule here is absolute. The 1-week schedule has to assign work for every single available forecasted labor hour. Not 80% just to leave some wiggle room for unexpected issues, literally 100%. And there's this really fascinating detail from our sources. Preference is actually given to scheduling higher priority work, even if it means you end up underutilizing your available skill levels to get it done. The priority of the plant's needs always dictates the schedule. That's how you maximize productivity through really ambitious goal setting.
Now, I know exactly what you're probably thinking right now. 100% capacity? Are you crazy? What happens when an emergency breaks out? It's a completely valid question. But the beauty of this framework is that the weekly schedule inherently contains tasks that can be interrupted. We already have a built-in buffer of lower priority planned work. But that leaves the question, who actually manages the chaos when those high-priority jobs inevitably crash the party?
Let's find out in Section 5, navigating the daily reality.
Check out the distinct worlds of maintenance scheduling on this side-by-side. On the left, we've got the ideal, protected environment of the scheduler, right? They're crafting a 1-week goal, working with those simple batches largely shielded from the daily noise. But then on the right, we have the crew supervisor. They live in the hour-by-hour triage reality.
They're the ones assigning specific names to tasks, handling the immediate, in-your-face problems of the day, and dynamically rescheduling the entire crew when an emergency suddenly blows up.
So how does the supervisor actually pull this off without totally losing their mind? By following these exact 3 steps, very predictably, 1 day in advance. First, they review where current jobs stand. Second, they consult that 1-week batch schedule the scheduler gave them. And third, they integrate any brand new, high-priority jobs that operations has flagged. By coordinating with operations every single day using these steps, the crew supervisor can effectively assign individual personnel skills to the daily work order requirements. They're literally adapting the perfect plan to the messy reality.
Finally, we reach Section 6, Measuring Success with Wrench Time.
As we all know, you can't improve what you don't measure. According to our foundational texts, these 2 metrics join forces to provide the ultimate, indisputable measure of your scheduling effectiveness. First is wrench time, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the proportion of time your workforce is actually turning wrenches, working directly on equipment rather than walking around, waiting for parts, or searching for a manual. Schedule success, on the other hand, measures how well we actually stuck to that 1-week batch schedule we created. High wrench time combined with high schedule success, that means your entire framework is just humming beautifully.
And that brings us to what I honestly believe is the most powerful insight of this entire analysis. Work that is planned before assignment reduces unnecessary delays during jobs, and work that is scheduled reduces delays between jobs. This quote brilliantly hits the nail on the head for our entire explainer. Good planning eliminates the friction while your team is actually working, making sure they have the right parts and instructions, and good scheduling eliminates the idle time while your team is waiting, ensuring they always know exactly what to tackle next. It is the perfect 1-2 punch for ultimate efficiency.
So take a moment and reflect on your own plant's operations with this final thought. Ask yourself honestly, are your planners passing a solid baton with complete job requirements? Is your scheduler actually assigning 100% of available hours? Or is your crew supervisor out there running the entire relay race all by themselves, trying to plan, schedule, and fight fire simultaneously? Understanding these 6 pillars really is your first step to fixing the framework, stopping the chaos, and finally winning the week. Keep learning, keep optimizing, and we will see you in the next explainer.